Thanks for joining us.
Jack Geis with the forum introducing the fat specialist. Man, here talking about fat shit. Hey,
There it is.
That was it.
That's it.
And everybody, if you could go around and introduce yourselves for the mics. And you're
I love it. I like it.
I'm all in.
I'm Mariah. I sing in the band.
Cheers.
Thank you. Thank you. Do I say anything else?
The real news specialist.
That's how I'm going to start with that.
That's about yourself.
My fun fact is always that I'm in a band, so,
And lead.
yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm Trey. I play drums and songwrite.
Nice. I'm Brian. I play piano, also songwrite a little bit.
I'm Sam. I play guitar and pinch steamy loaves.
They're all on a steamy low.
Sorry, this is an NSFW podcast. Thank you.
I mean, like I said, take it in the shower with you. You know.
Whatever you want.
You better have a drink.
Hey, after my sit down.
Waffle stomp it. You got a waffle stomp it.
Hey, yeah, after my sit down.
Oh,
you have to
God.
repeat that for sure.
I had a word for it.
Oh, man. I'm Connor. Play bass guitar and bring great vibes. I like to think.
Yeah.
No, you say you curate the vibe.
I do. Yeah.
You don't bring them. You curate the vibe.
Establish the
We
vibe.
bring them and then Connor curates them.
That's true.
Yeah.
Okay. Fair enough.
Connor chooses the vibe and then we follow.
When we talk about curating the vibe, then, what kind of vibe are you guys trying to curate with your music?
Man, that's an interesting question. I don't know. It's been fairly experimental for a bit. We've been kind of figuring stuff out for a couple of years now, but we've all got pretty dynamic influences, I'd say. But most
Yeah, you
of
caught
all,
me. I lied. There was no
something
traffic.
that's
I just
fun
was taking
that we
everything
think
down
sounds
from
good.
all
It's interesting and that other people might like.
What's fun for you?
You know, I don't know. We have a lot of, again, I think it goes back to the influences. Like, we all kind of have grown up on different things and are inspired by different things. And I think the most interesting thing is when we kind of put it all together and it makes this sound that probably we wouldn't have drew up on the drawing board, you know, when we first decided, like, hey, let's be a band. So that's been what's been fun. It's like putting something together, seeing what comes out, playing it for people, you know, and seeing what the response is. I don't know.
Yeah, I think because we have such a wide diversity and influence, like I think every single person, like the favorite music of each member is like completely different. So we all bring like little bits and pieces together that wouldn't otherwise like fit, you know. And so we're like still trying to like curate that into something that's a little more cohesive and like a defined sound, you know what I mean? So, you know, we're like leaning towards the psych rock stuff, a little bit of R&B, we got hip hop influence, a little bit of electronic stuff,
Little jam,
little
little jelly,
Yeah.
little peanut butter.
Yeah, we kind of like lean into, you know, like the pop side of things. So like write good, catchy songs, but also like let loose in the instrumental side, you know, because I feel like that's where most of our prowess is, you know, like technical abilities.
You
So.
definitely seems like you flex those musical parts and solos and in certain aspects of these songs that I hear of yours.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's very exploratory right now. We're still, like Connor said, just, I don't know,
You talk about a lot of differences.
put stuff down and see what happens.
Yeah.
Sorry, go ahead.
You talk about a lot of differences in your musical backgrounds.
Mm-hmm.
Are there any common forefathers to your sound? Any people that you draw to the table and say, wow, this guy's just a great artist. We can take a lot of inspiration from that.
Man, it'd probably be hard to pin it down to like a single one.
Yeah, I can't speak on that or else I'll get chastised by the
Well, so, yeah.
Speak openly.
Chastise.
Well,
They do, yes,
and
yes.
we will.
I'm the
We will.
scapegoat.
Yeah.
He's our punching bag.
No. So
Everyone has one.
yeah, we like definitely when Trey, I guess Trey and Sam and I started playing first together, and it was very much like sort of jam, improvisational, you know, very much inspired by.
We were drunk.
So, yeah.
So where was this? Like, when did you guys start together?
Oh,
Connor's
man.
plays back in the day.
Yeah, back at my house, I had like a little bonus room situation.
Well, actually, it goes further back than that.
Yeah, it does. I guess when
It all
Sam and I
started at a pool party.
It started a pool party.
Hopefully not in the pool.
Kind of. The conversation started.
The conversation.
It's like, yes, Sam and I met through some
They were
mutual
playing
friends.
chicken.
Yeah. Yes. Sam was on my shoulders. Yeah.
No, I rolled in hot, just like I did for this podcast. He was already, posing for the ladies on the beach chair.
So you had just come to fictional love.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct.
As he typically does.
Correct.
Way too much barbecue.
Yeah.
You just
Taking
make
on a
it
slave
for
women.
Right, and I was very self-conscious to take off my shirt.
Right.
So I gravitated toward the man
You're
who,
next to him.
right.
Because it's like,
And we started chatting, and he was just pulling his whole like, "Oh, bro, have you heard Dave Matthews?"
No.
No.
And I was like, "Actually, this is the first concert I ever went to,
It was, yeah.
and that's the first time I saw marijuana."
And the rest is history.
Did you see it first or smell it?
Smelled it first. Yeah.
Yeah.
I never really saw it. I just saw my dad munching on a Big Mac and large fry after the show. I said, "Mom, why is he so hungry?" I was 9.
because that's the best Big Mac he's ever had.
Correct.
Right.
Extra sauce. And so at that pool party, we decided to break out the guitars.
We did, yeah. So Sam and I started, kind of figured out, like, oh, you play guitar, I play guitar. And
Then we jammed on
It's
like.
like a Tenacious D moment.
so don't get this guy started.
Wait a minute.
Talk about
Who's
influences.
JB and who's Kyle?
You're Kyle. Right?
I'm not bald yet.
You're JB, but like you're JB that
I'll take it.
from like the Midwest.
Yeah. Yeah, very, very reasonable back
So yeah, we played a couple songs on the acoustic, and then I think Jackie was like, "Y'all should start a band." Jackie's our friend's wife, and I said, "How about we just go busk in Europe?"
Yeah. So then we hit the road. No.
No, Connor said, I can't afford that. I said, "Well, I know my buddy Trey who plays drums." And take
Yeah, I
it
think our first jam was in my apartment, and we had like a weird
That's
like electronic drums set up, and I live in the Gramercy, it's like right downtown, this tiny little living room. We're all crammed in here with like little headphone amps, and like everything was plugged in, and yeah, it's pretty mediocre jam for the setup.
it was.
We figured something out, and it started to work a little bit. Had like we're pretty much on the same level, like musically speaking, like technical ability wise. And then he got the setup upstairs in the bonus room, and had a decent setup and started jamming in there.
Yeah.
But it was, back to the influences, if you must have like names like, Grateful Dead, your Fishes of the world, like Sam and I certainly, and Trey too, and it kind of started with that. It's just kind of like going up there and seeing what happens in an hour or two of just playing something. And weren't really like writing anything for a while, just kind of jamming on, classic, staple songs. And then Mariah, I guess Trey and Mariah got together at, it was also potentially next to some pool party. I don't know.
It was like a birthday party, like.
Yeah, we were like real drunk at a birthday party, and we were like hanging out in my room and just playing guitar, I guess, and figured out she could sing.
I had a cold that week, and so I was drinking a lot of Amy Winehouse. Voice dressing.
Of course.
So I was
As one does.
pretending to play the guitar and singing Amy Winehouse, and he was like, "We have a band.
Yeah.
Come sing, yeah.
Do you want to sing in it?" I was like, "That's awesome."
Yeah, we kind of like threw it together and played like that for a while. Like, I don't know if we necessarily started writing stuff right off the bat.
We kind of, I don't know.
Yeah, man,
we would like do things like it wasn't. We were like, I guess when we first started like writing stuff, it was mostly Trey writing it, and we wouldn't actually play it as a band.
Because
Really.
it sucked. What?
Because it sucked. No, I would go over.
Or
to
no, it didn't suck. We sucked.
I'd go over and he'd have like lyrics, and he'd have like the instrumental done, and then kind of a concept for what he like wanted the melody to sound like, and then I would like sit and it was like pulling teeth, and we'd go line by line.
Yeah.
And he's like, "This is what I want it to sound like," and like.
Let's go.
Our ranges are different.
Yeah,
I'll say that. So it was a lot of trial and error, and a lot of the songs sounded not great. But
I think that
it
was the
fun
cool part.
learning experience.
Yeah, that was like it's like we all kind of came from, again, these very different, not super different, but like different like motivations of the type of music we were thinking we were going to make. And especially as Mariah started to get like much more like comfortable with writing and like kind of taking point on like, this is kind of the sound we want to go for, and then morphed into that, over time.
Which we still can't define the sound that we're going
Which is the
Yeah.
fun.
What's the point of defining?
Yeah.
Don't put us in
Especially
a
modern
box.
music.
Think outside the box.
Yeah.
Barbecue.
Charles de Courvoisier.
Sometimes you gotta live Moss.
Now, Brian, how are you?
Oh, we found him on the side of the roof.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was in like a little carriage flowing down a river.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fresh as fuck, because every time I've ever seen you,
I try my best.
always really well.
I
Sharp
try to
as
pre-
now.
Yeah, for the viewers at home, he's wearing a purple Expand Your Mind hoodie, retail $399.
I try to present on the outside
Lincoln bio.
what's not on the inside.
Lincoln
But yeah, it's Shein.
No, the story with Brian, we actually had a gig at the Night Rider.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know the
Exactly a year ago.
Shout out Night Rider.
I love the Night Riders.
Love those Hot Pockets for $5. Yeah.
It seems like it feels like that's not genuine, but it is.
Yeah.
Sells it so well. Well, we're drunk on PBR. Let's think
It
it
is.
right.
Yeah.
Love the hot
They're there
pocket,
for you.
doesn't love the price.
Yeah, well,
Inflation,
It's a Hot Pocket,
Yeah, they're
that's for
$6
sure.
now.
I mean, if you go outside, it's an $8 hot dog and a $12.
You're telling me, man, cookout trays are $6.99 now.
Yeah.
Ridiculous. You add a fancy shake, it's $7.99.
It's hit everybody hard.
No, we had a gig at the Night Rider, and we've been looking for a keyboard player for a while. We had
Yeah, a lot of auditions.
I don't know,
were
like a pseudo audition. We had like 3 semi auditions. I don't know.
Yeah, just people we'd come into contact
People would
with,
come-
and they'd
people
say,
would come
"Oh,
in and
girl,
I'd scare
like,
'em
us,
off.
and we'll see if it's a good mix, but
So you guys kind of knew you wanted somebody.
You have to
oh,
try.
for sure.
Yeah, we
Definitely
needed-
want someone to
Yeah,
play.
we kind of had this this power trio thing initially that worked well for real classic rock power trio and
Dad rock.
thing. But when we started
Three
to
dads.
write some stuff, I was like, man, we need like some synth, we need some keys in here to really layer the sound.
Yeah.
And so we kind of had this whole, and so we were like, man, we need to find a keys player. But it's tough, like finding, especially adding like a fifth to the mix. More cooks in the kitchen. It's a dangerous thing.
Well, the big thing Connor would
Sometimes,
always really go back to is they've got to fit the vibe that you're curating.
That's
They
true.
can be a virtuoso on the keys, but if they can't hang,
I mean, it is
that's
true
really
though.
bad.
Like there were some people that
You have to be able to do
That's
both.
why Eddie Hayes
If you
got
really
kicked out of Funkadelic.
right?
Mm.
We can't just do a mail order keyboard
He
thing.
was on heroin the whole time.
Yeah.
It was just like, hey, babe,
We'll see
Yeah.
if you take that.
Yeah. Didn't fit the vibe.
Not there yet. but-
So we
It
jammed with a couple different guys and had this gig at the Night Rider, so we knew we wanted a keyboard player, and Brian being the
Initiator.
Yeah. I mean, I came in.
you made the pass.
I kind of had not an epiphany, but a realization that I needed to get back into music because I've been away from it for so long, and started playing piano again. And I actually did have the intention to join a band. I just wanted to. And then,
Yeah, you literally walked up.
Yeah.
You guys need a keyboard player.
He
I was
played.
like, yeah.
He played dumb. He played dumb, but then after the fact,
Yeah.
we realized he had been poaching us for a while.
well, actually, that was the first time I ever saw them, and I went to sort of scope out bands. And if you don't have a keyboard in your band, then you need a keyboardist, in my opinion. It's a very important element to any band.
Well,
So
keys fill out the mids and highs like everything else, right?
So what I really liked about them, obviously, is Mariah, the lead singer. It's very rare to find a female lead that's really good in a band. From what I've seen, it's very unique. And also, they mesh well together. Sam with the crazy solos. I was like, damn, they're very, very talented. So I went up to them and I was like, hey, what's up? You guys need a pianist?
And me and Trey were
all drinking, and
pockets
it was
at the
great.
bar.
It worked out.
Damn, he has confidence.
Yeah.
I
like that.
And looking
His
back,
pocket's deep.
looking back, that was December of last year, so it's been almost a year.
November.
Yeah, it was exactly.
No, it was the first week. It was like December 7th, if I recall.
Literally
He was
almost a
wearing
year.
tie dye. I remember like it was.
He's got tie dyes.
It's a funny story because he walks up, he
That's
starts
it.
talking to me and Trey.
Wait, he's wearing tie dye?
He's wearing tie dye. I
Yeah,
know.
tie-dye hoodie. I was
The
gonna wear it today.
turntables.
Yeah.
And we're talking, we're hitting it off, and you know how you have like those icebreaker moments where it's gonna go good.
Who do you know? Oh yeah, you know this guy.
Right, not the good old college trial. We're sitting there, talking that up, and then all of a sudden, like, we just start smelling something real funky. Do you remember this, Trey?
No.
You were pretty.
Yeah,
Trey was
actually
pretty
don't-
gone.
It was
Yeah.
well. He doesn't remember it because he dealt it, but somebody
I
let
mean,
one
I
know.
honestly,
It was probably.
You remember that?
Yeah.
We were talking, and we were talking, and we
Yeah.
all three of us just kind of looked at each other like, "Oh my god!"
it sounds like according to this story and according to
And
the
then after-
full of like unreliable narrator, right?
Yeah, right. See.
That you perhaps may have done.
Don't put me in a box.
That's
It-
cool.
in the box.
What's
Yeah.
But no, we did. I mean, it was interesting how.
But that was the moment we were like, yeah, he's cool. We can hang out.
Yeah.
We all like moved away.
They gave me the approval.
That was when we
But-
kind of.
Well,
that was
stand
when
there,
was
you
there-
know?
well,
I'm just
that
kidding.
was just what
Stand
we-
that's a weird word.
It's when we
got
found the
together.
human element and all.
It was a social check mark, obviously.
Yeah, we yawned and he yawned, you know, which shows empathy.
So after the social check mark, was there an audition?
Yeah, so they're like, hey, so I was pretty serious about it, so let's put something on the calendar. About 2 weeks later, they were like, let's meet at the bonus room, and we have a cool spot, come in, and I was like, can you guys send me some songs you like? They actually sent me something by The Doors, I think Soul Kitchen. So The Doors are one of my favorite bands. They're one of my inspirations for sure. They have one of the best keyboardists, rock keyboardists of all time. So I was like, okay, Soul Kitchen, great. So I practiced the shit out of it. I was like, I gotta do well, impress these guys. And then I walked in, we just started jamming, and not even on Soul Kitchen, we just started playing together, and it worked. It was great.
Yeah, I don't even know if we played that, but it's funny how
We just jammed on.
We just jammed something,
Yeah,
some 2 chords or something.
but that's the fun part about like adding the keys to the mix and just another musician is that like changed up how we would go about like improvisation or even writing something new, right? And kind of adds in this new element. So that was a fun new mix and definitely changed a lot of things that we were playing at that time. Even still too, because Brian's writing a bunch of stuff now.
Let's talk
Some of
songwriting.
the new songs. Yeah.
Let's talk songwriting.
Talk to her.
You're the songwriter.
I
Well,
know
she's
lyrics.
she's a lyricist.
She's a lyricist.
So there are 2 songs that I found on iTunes.
Caught my eye and no sweeter.
Yeah.
Which one was released free keyboard, one post
Yeah, Conrad.
Yeah.
Shoot, you're right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Didn't think about that.
Which we can get into songwriting with a keyboard, songwriting without a keyboard, everything.
Well, please.
You got it.
So songwriting with the keyboard, the newer stuff, it seems somehow brighter. And
Yeah.
I know we just talked about the mids and the trebles being filled out. Has that affected your songwriting process?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the process is still. I don't know if we have like something that's super like rigid and like this is how we start, you know, or this. It always like if somebody has an idea. Sometimes it can just come from like a jam and be like, oh, that's a cool idea. Let's hold on to that and like build on it. And I think that's usually what it is somebody kind of comes to the table with something, and then we kind of workshop it from there. Whether it's like Brian on the keys, like a couple of the newer ones. It's like, hey, I've got this idea, or just start with like your groovy bass line and try to build off of that. But it's funny.
We
Yeah,
feedback,
It's the
criticism.
bass line, right?
Yeah.
The bass line is like,
Yeah, and again, it's
Yeah,
like
it's everything.
depending on the song itself and like what you're going for in it, where it starts can really kind of change the dynamic of it. But yeah, it's funny because like even those 2 songs that were I don't know, a year maybe more ago now are like so different from some of the stuff that we're doing now, right?
Yeah, that
Because
doesn't even
like,
sound like us.
yeah, it's
anymore.
kind of like hashing out that sound and kind of what we're going for and experimenting with new stuff. But yeah, it's always kind of coming up with some idea and just sort of seeing where it goes and starting to lay some stuff down and being like, oh, well, hold on, let's like go back and change this up. And Mariah really started putting the lyrics to it, a year ago maybe, and so that's kind of changed it up too. She'll like give us a melody now.
Well, actually, I think it was no sweeter when we kind of figured out Mariah could actually write. Not that she couldn't before. We just
No, but
she
I
could.
wasn't good at it.
She always could. We just discovered. Let me rephrase that.
Well, I think we discovered it, but I also just got more comfortable with it and more like in the beginning I would kind of approach it in like a little bit of a rigid way, in the same way, like similar to how we had like been
Well, I think it was a lot of like,
recording.
and prior it might
Line
have
by
been
line.
more like Mariah was coming to like our song that we had put together. Where
Yeah.
now it's like she's coming with her song, right? And we're kind of building.
Writing around that.
And that's the difference the keyboards make as far as our songwriting process.
I mean, I think like my favorite song so far is one that Brian wrote the instrumentals for because it's very just like keys based and it's not.
It inspires
Yeah,
me.
if we talk about like transforming your sound a little bit, is
Yeah.
what we've been molding our sound and transforming it into a more modern. I wouldn't say lo-fi bedroom pop. I'm not sure if you're familiar with those types of genres, but the keys add a new element, like you said, a brighter element, but they do complement the guitar well, So
And I think also with like all the experience we've had over the past 2 years, like the production capabilities are getting way better. Like we know how to put a song together a lot better than we did, previously. Like with the 2 songs that are currently out.
someone comes in with some chords and an idea.
Yeah.
Everybody has feedback. We criticize certain. We should add this. We should take away. We get in there into the kitchen and we start cooking and taking things out, adding things.
Chef.
It's very
chefing. Yes.
It can be a little sometimes like I don't like that. I think it's too much.
A little tense.
Too many chords, too little chords. So, but we've got it down now. We give Mariah the bass. She does her work at home and writes it down, and then she brings it to us. It's really good.
Yeah, and that's definitely been evolving. Like, I'd say like the songs we were writing a year ago, it was I was very like algorithmic about it. Like I wanted everything to kind of sound the same. Like verse chorus. Like didn't have too much deviation. But like now that also Brian's in the mix, and like one of the most recent songs we wrote, like I said, is like my favorite. I just kind of like let it play and then just put on like a voice recorder and just like sang over it, and I just ended up using that like for the whole song. And it was like very like I don't know. It has more deviations. It's not quite as like formulaic, and I feel like that's the right direction to be moving in.
Yeah.
Well, it's a snowball effect too, because as we progress and we become more proficient, Trey with the production, he's gotten so much better, and Mariah with the confidence in her lyrical ability, it just it's all downhill from here, and we're getting
one of the two.
It's on that hill.
we're feeling good about what we do, even if it sounds like crap to someone else. We like it, so that's all that matters. And we feel like we're getting better. So,
and I think we're moving away from the jam band sound. I think that's another piece that
there's been a overarching argument about dad rock.
Well,
It is a
we
yeah.
fight that all the time.
so we're talking jam band versus the creation of songs. We're talking formulaic versus organic.
Yeah.
So
There's a lot of friction there,
right.
but that's where creation occurs.
I mean, that's why Frankenstein was created, right? Mary
Yeah.
Shelley had the whole realization, oh shit, we're moving away from being animals into being industrialized humans. From being organic.
Nature
We'll
or
always be
nurture.
animals on the inside.
Okay.
And the thing is, I think the jam band stuff actually is great for live performance, in my opinion. It's an element that
It's a yin and yang. It's a yin and
yang.
yang. It's a yin and yang.
Yeah, well, it's a mastery over instruments that transcends like notes on a page.
Yeah.
It's the ability to express itself,
Improvise.
right?
Yeah.
And if you continue like being a jam band, if you continue being organic, you transform into like funk that no two performances are ever the same.
Yeah.
What is the value in having performances that you can replicate?
Yeah, I don't know. I think about I think one of the cool things about improvisation and like having the no two are the same. It's not necessarily the novelty of the like, oh yeah, we never played the same thing twice, right? Because like that's it's just like creating a certain moment like at that show, with that group of people.
Perhaps
that,
curating.
Yeah,
And it makes it worth it for the audience because you never know what you're going to get.
Yeah, exactly. Like in that certain environment, where like that's what makes that unique, right? And yeah, it does make it like going to a different show, going to something new, is going to make it more interesting than just like, yeah, we're going to hear the song just like this on the record, right? That's not something that's like unique to us or like we're pioneering by any means, but yeah, it's the meshing of those two because there is something to be said for like, a good pop song that's catchy and people are gonna like that. So
There's something to be said about the SNL performance of Ashley Simpson. Like, there's something to be said about that level of formulaicness where you feel like you can get away with that, where you feel like that's acceptable for people to exist and watch and consider that a performance.
Yeah.
Something that struck me about you is that when I watched you guys live, I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
There's an enjoyment factor to it because you guys are enjoying yourself.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
There's no surprise for the reader. There's no surprise for the writer. There's no surprise for the writer. There's no surprise for the reader.
There you go.
Oh, and at the end of the day, that's really the vibe that started this whole shindig. Was just us having fun with each other, and if we're having fun, then someone else is gonna have fun. They're gonna enjoy themselves.
Yeah.
What about meaning as far as lyricism goes?
Yeah, that's something I'm still trying to.
I don't. That's always the thing with like songwriting. Like, there's certain songs where like there's very heavy emphasis on like meaning and like lyrics and digging into that, and then there's certain songs where like the lyrics are nonsense. And there's songs of both of those natures that I really enjoy, right? Like I don't know if we necessarily sit down and we're like, this is the message.
I really don't think about that,
You know what
but
I mean? Yeah.
it's something I want to think about more.
Are you more
Do
interested in storytelling then, or like is there anything when you're have you done much writing before coming in as a lyricist?
No, not like none. I definitely listen to a ton of music, a lot of like, vocalists that I like respect. Yeah, I think. Sorry.
Amy Winehouse being one.
Yeah, absolutely. Amy Winehouse, like Nine Mom. I love Lana Del Rey. That was like a big one when I was younger. But yeah, I definitely like storytelling. I think is something that I want to like learn how to incorporate a little bit because right now I'll just sort of say like, oh, that kind of rhymes and it sounds good.
There's conventions of poetry that are used in songwriting too, like Tame Impala with that elephant song, right?
Mm-hmm.
Where there's a conceit, and the conceit is followed throughout the song, and you take on the perspective of something else. It's a transformation.
Yeah.
Stevie Nicks does it too, Fleetwood Mac.
Mm-hmm.
It's the idea of casting a spell, and you are the thing that you are putting out into there.
Like Silver Spring. Fleetwood Mac, sorry.
So what, as far as like spells, what kind of magic are you guys trying to put together in your shows?
Well, I won the spelling bee in 7th grade.
That's
another dad joke.
No,
Do you remember the last word?
It was attitude, actually.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
A small thing that makes a big difference.
There you go. It's not the notes that you play.
I mean,
It's the jokes that you don't.
I think we're all trying to create our own spells. Like any team, you each have your own like superpower. You each have your own. You each bring something different. For me, a lot of music for me is a healing factor, a meditative factor for people that are listening. So my songs that I write are more on the chill side, the lo-fi side, like I said, because to me that's something that you listen to, and it just envelops you, and it can, like I said, a healing factor, meditative. You're there. That's what I'm trying to create when I'm on stage. I'm trying to get people in. Like you're there, you're locked in, and you feel great.
And you said you came back to music. Where'd you come back from? As you kind of thought about entering a band, seems like you were very intent on. What was your kind of? Was there were you playing before and you're like, this is what I need? And
yeah, music was always a big part of my life. I started playing piano when I was like 8, 9 years old. It was like my mom wanted to learn piano. They bought a keyboard, and I just started playing on it. And I taught myself by ear. And then I went to an art school. I played for my church for a very long time. It's a very common route for some musicians is to be part of a church band.
Yeah.
So I was part of that for.
I was.
Yeah. So I was playing little melodies. I was 11 years old on stage. So getting the stage presence, playing like little introductions like with one finger, and then upgrading to chords, and then having the actual background. But then when I started, college and then law school, I was like, I can't do this anymore. I don't have time. And then, but I have an upright piano at home that it was just collecting dust, and I was like, I got to get back into this. It's an element of my life that I was missing out on. Like I said, to me it's healing. It's therapeutic for me to play piano with music. I get on the piano and I just lay it out there, and it's for me it feels great. It's a good time.
Yeah, I think it's like authenticity over anything. You know what I mean? Like we talk about like what kind of spell. It's like when I go see a band or see a group that any kind of art really, it's like as long as it's authentic and like they're true to whatever they're doing, even if it's not like in the vein of like what I would typically think that I'm like into or whatever. Like as long as it's authentic, then that's what makes it special. You know what I mean? And different than just something else. With music, I don't know. It seems like sometimes that gets lost pretty easy on certain types of music. But,
Well, it goes back to the formulaic question. Playing the same song every night the same way versus
Right.
You have to be
present to improvise.
right.
You have to be here now.
Yeah.
And if you are formulaic and you create the same song over and over again, you can kind of like zone out and be like,
A little artificial.
Go through the
Corn on the cob.
That's a hey,
Check in with me. But at the same time, you have to have both at the same time. To reel people in, you have to have that hit that's going to sound the same to everybody every single time. But then they come to see you, and that's when you break out the here and now.
Yeah.
Even
That's when they're like, oh, I'm in.
And then there are bands like Led Zeppelin where they capture the here and now on the vinyl. And I'm like,
Yeah.
damn, Black Dog is fucking lit. Holy shit.
Yeah. Yeah.
Tell me how it is and what it should be.
We still can't get that track right. We play that.
Right, so there is something to be said
Yeah.
for not just authenticity, but the act of being present in the song itself every single fucking time. Right?
Yeah.
There's an art to improv too, because you're trying to, you have a theme, like each different songs have different themes. I'm like I'll tell Sam, let's do this in Phrygian scale, or let's do this more like a Santana thing. Like,
Yeah, I love Santana.
Yeah.
I hear that influence a lot.
Yeah, I love Santana.
For the record, I don't know what Phrygian means. I hear Egyptian music, and I'm like, oh yeah, I can hit that.
That's what it means.
I can hit that half step down from where I should.
But it's not too cold.
Step into the freezer.
That's exactly what it
It's
is.
not frozen. It's not freezing.
Sam just says, yeah, sure.
You know, Uncle Ebenezer tried to teach me those.
That's a joke for two.
That's not a real person. I'm not that good at that for real.
He's not, but I do have a eulalia in my family. Yeah.
Should we talk about you later?
No, we don't have
Should
to
we
talk.
talk about Sam's family?
She was not at Thompson Fest.
That's child abuse.
That is the cry of a badger in Redwall.
Is it really?
From the Redwall series?
Oh, yeah, my sister.
That's the series about the mice, right?
Yeah. A badger yells Eulalia before it
Oh
slaughters a bunch
my
of
goodness. I have been searching for the name of that series for
Redwall.
probably about a year
It's one of my favorite series.
because I had a buddy when I did Battle of the Books back in the day who read all those, and I couldn't remember.
Oh yeah.
Of Mice and Men.
My knowledge was I
Redwall.
gave up my left eye for this.
Spoiler.
That's an Odin reference.
But we kind of talked a little bit about like live performances. What are some of your guys' favorite places to play?
Oh man. I mean, Morehouse is always fun. Like it's a cool venue.
probably
Yeah, because they let us go in the green room sometimes.
Bond Brothers East is a great stage. Like that's a great room.
We enjoy Bond Brothers East.
Yeah.
My favorite venue we ever played was Pinhook. We played like
That was a
in
cool
March,
spot, yeah.
and like the vibe was just so nice, and like everybody's like so into it, and like it was just very like high
Yeah,
energy.
Durham.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what it maybe was. Yeah.
Durham hits different.
It was
They're a
awesome.
little more engaged in the local music scene over there.
We have not gone to
It's not the
Chapel
wine and cheese crowd that you kind of get over here sometimes.
Trey and I would gig around in Chapel Hill when we were in
Back
school,
in college, right?
but when we did the Cave once.
Mm.
We
Oh, that would be cool.
You said something that I gravitated to. Wine and cheese crab?
Yeah.
What are we talking?
His parents.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The stiffs that stand around, like arms crossed, are kind of there just for to be seen, sort of shit. People that aren't like super engaged in the music, it's like always kind of a tough crowd to play to because you want everybody to be into what you're doing. Especially on stage, you notice every single person out in the crowd, right? And
Yeah.
when the crowd's a little stiff and maybe not so into it, it gets tough to perform sometimes. But you go over to Durham, like we were saying, or like Chapel Hill or something like that, and everybody's like into the music. They don't know what the fuck you're playing. They've never heard of you, but they're into it, and that gives you like a lot more engagement. And then we can then feed off of that, and our
It's a give and
performances get a little more gusto because
Yeah. Well, I
Yeah,
think part
it's
of
a
it
give and
too
take.
is like some venues like Poorhouse and like Pinhook, like we were going, like people were coming just to see the show, not necessarily like solely for us, but like they were here to just see music. Whereas there are other venues will play like Bowstring, which I love playing Bowstring, like it's a ton of fun. But sometimes it's people are there to like eat and hang out and drink, and then there's music in the background, and there's
Mostly,
varying
like,
levels of engagement.
5-year-old kids all over.
There's also a lot of kids.
Yeah, Connor was giving out a lot of autographs last time.
Lots of autographs. Brian was too.
It
Yeah.
was I actually felt bad because at the beginning of that show, I was like, oh, damn, there's so many kids here. And then at the end, they were like just pumping, like gassing me up so much. And I was like, oh man, maybe we should have
Rising
kids for
customer.
offense.
I
Yeah.
enjoyed that.
Yeah.
It was a good one.
But speaking of nice places to play, I really enjoyed our Unorthodox Vintage show.
Oh,
thought
I love
was just-
that. Yeah.
Yeah, so
That was
that's cool. That goes
Oh,
back
is
to like
that on Hopscotch?
yeah,
Yeah, that was
Yeah.
Yeah, you were there.
Hopscotch. Like just kind of like a pop up thing, and that goes back to like just playing to the room. Like
It's very
it was
intimate.
such
I couldn't even get in there.
Where was that?
Yep.
And like
It was just full.
It was right there on Wilmington
Yeah.
Street,
Or
across from next to
Yeah.
Raleigh Times, across
Oh,
from
yeah.
like
There's a
Slim's.
pizza place next
Yeah, we
to
were
it.
actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think because I think I just got off work and then
Yeah,
you
you
were
do.
all the
Yeah.
time. So
Yeah, we had to go to the
couldn't
pizza place.
physically go inside.
Yeah, it was
because
so
there
yeah,
were so
it was,
many people.
It was
People were drawn to the side.
Yeah, it's like a
Yeah.
sidewalk show.
It was so much fun.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like,
That was
doing
my
like a
favorite
pop-up
show.
thing like that. Like, it's certainly not like a venue, right? But like playing to that room was so much fun because just the energy was a little bit different.
Well, because everyone was there specifically too, so you like.
Yeah.
Yeah, just hopscotch
Yep.
station.
Yeah.
So, how'd you guys kind of get like hooked on that?
Man, that was Brian. Yeah, Brian had the connection.
The owner.
People there. Yeah.
We're pretty cool with the owner. His name's Julian. He runs a Raleigh Event Collective.
Shout out Julian.
Yeah, shout out
What
to
up,
him.
Julian?
Orthodox Vintage. Good to go. Your vintage clothes.
Yeah.
So he was like, "You guys should probably do a show during hopscotch. I think that'd be great." It's like, cool. So we just moved the clothing racks aside, turned it into a venue. It was great.
Yeah,
And it worked.
Yeah,
Yeah.
man, it was great.
And the big display of the window.
That was
Yeah.
the lighting was
Yeah,
crazy.
that was dope, and it made it look like when you're walking by, you're shopping, and you can buy your mask.
Yeah.
We are actually for
We
sale.
are for
And
sale.
oh, yeah, I mean,
Any sponsors?
Anybody.
Next
Yeah,
topic.
anyone wants to
Next
cut
topic.
anybody, please. White Claw, cut the check.
We'll definitely like to be sponsored by them.
The day
Triple
shows and
Chico.
the night shows were better than the actual.
That's the cool part about that whole
Yeah.
thing, man. Is you just like bounce around and see like bands. I mean, a lot of times you see bands you know, but like just walking up on something and being like, man, these guys rip. Like, it's cool.
any shows there?
We walked around. I bounced around on Saturday a little bit. Went over to Slim's.
Yeah, we were.
Yeah, we were
there.
How'd you
Yeah.
name? Was it
Yeah,
like
we were there.
Juice
We
Lord
saw
Tab One?
Juice Lord Tab One.
It was. I think it was before. It was like earlier in the day that day.
Oh.
But yeah, it was rowdy, man. These dudes were like just tossing out like PBRs and hitting people in the head.
No way.
Absolutely screaming in the mic. That was awesome, dude. It ripped.
So
I
you
wish they
were
would continue.
in that, I think.
I didn't get hit in the head. But I
A long
suspect-
time
But he wishes
Yeah,
he had.
I wish I had. I could have snagged one. But no, yeah, that's the fun part. Just kind of going, like, seeing what you roll into. I went to King's for a little bit, which I think King's is done.
King's
Yeah.
is done.
Yeah, I know, man.
That's a great venue.
Maybe that was the last show.
That's one of those ones we didn't get to play at. We wish we had.
Yeah, well, kind of like Slim says, I think too. Like they just kind of bring it back for hopscotch and certain things. But
Which is tough because one of our initial goals was to play at Slim's.
Yeah, we wanted to get.
That was like an OG. We just want to play at Slim's.
Yeah.
We'll do it.
It gets so packed when it plays there.
That's the fun part.
Yeah.
Is it though?
Oh man,
Yeah.
when I was in college in punk rock bands, that was the best venue to play at. 'Cause you could just be shirtless, dive into the crowd, be absolutely
Smoking sticks on
disgusting.
stage.
Oh my god, yeah, that was the place to play. Make $75 that night, but it was the greatest night of your life, you know.
So did you go to NC State?
No, I went to Chapel Hill.
Okay,
Yeah.
we were playing around here.
Yeah, I played a bunch of like punk rock and kind of art rock bands, so we'd do the whole like triangle circuit back in the day and just be real nasty about it.
You paid $75.
Yeah, make you know.
Spend $100 at the bar.
Being hammered on PBR and shirtless at the end of the night, but it was a good time.
That's like every weekend for Trey.
Yeah.
What about like future stuff? Do you guys like have any forefronts that you guys like really want to perform at?
Man, I think like Shikori, we definitely would like to
I was just
work out. Yeah.
When's Julia?
How was Fall Shikori?
It's fucking amazing. It's just colder in spring.
Yeah.
It's fucking amazing.
Yeah. It looked fun.
That's a great time.
Yeah, we don't have. I mean, right now, we don't have like a band manager or anything, so it's all kind of just whatever we put together. So it kind of ebbs and flows.
It's pretty DIY.
Yeah, so right now it's a lot of like we recorded 2 tracks out at Sonark in Hillsboro.
Shout out
a while
Paul.
back, and like been finishing that up, and that takes time, and now those are pretty much kind of polished up. So now it's like back to the grind of all right, let's get some stuff on the books for end of the year, like.
And it's tough during the holidays too. Everyone's with family and everyone has their vacation plans.
Thompson's
So.
best.
Thompson's
Thompson's
best.
A lot of business.
Yeah.
Q on Q on Q.
I was thinking about potentially doing another unorthodox show by the end of the year, but it's tough for the holiday schedule. But
As you guys are thinking about like doing kind of DIY style, how do you kind of divide that labor of like just how does that work?
whoever gets it.
I oversee.
Yeah, that's a supervisor.
Yeah.
I call supervisor.
There's always truth in a joke. There's a lot of truth in that one.
It's like you ask a question and then on the iMessage chat, if it gets enough likes, it's a show.
Everybody down for this? No, yeah, I mean, we got like, we got the equipment now, and we kind of have the cadence figured out, where we can kind of go and set everything up. I don't know, I mean, it's
We got like good connects with pretty much everybody now, so it's just a matter of like booking shows and getting it done,
Yeah,
So
putting
Yeah,
something
exactly.
together is,
Logistics.
Yeah.
We love them.
yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, I schlepped the gear.
Yeah.
All the way from Hillsborough.
Yeah. No, I guess like it's funny. In some form or fashion, it always seems to divvy up pretty evenly, even though there's no kind of rhyme or reason how we go about it. You know, Trey will take up production. Connor will book the gig. I'll schlep the gear. Brian and Mariah will,
Make the music
and handle the marketing and say, hey, everybody come hang out. But it's I don't know. It's musical chairs. It rotates. Sometimes I'll book the gig and Connor will schlep the gear.
Yeah. I guess like especially now we try to just book gigs that are going to be worthwhile and fun. Like we're not necessarily on the grind. We got to play 3 nights a week.
Yeah.
We got to do all this stuff. It's kind of we pick and choose. What we put together now and then.
Make it more of an event.
Yeah, and then outside of that, just kind of focus on trying to write new stuff and get better as a band. That's always ever evolving.
But that's the fun part. I mean, there's not necessarily a lot of pressure. We can just kind of come and go as we please, and that really allows us the freedom to create.
Yeah, that's fair.
So.
Speaking of creating, do you have any new projects that you guys would like to talk about?
We got 2 new songs that are gonna hit, all streaming platforms here in the next week or 2.
Mm-hmm.
Just got those wrapped up, and I think kind of the same thing with that. Like we don't necessarily have like an album in the works. We kind of just been focusing on knocking out, a couple at a time. Because again, with like having a more like DIY sort of mindset, it's like all right, let's like hone these in, write something we like get it recorded, get it mixed down, make it sound cool, and put it out. See where it goes.
Yeah, we'll probably do that with Retrograde as well. That's one of our favorites that Mariah was mentioning. Write more music is probably our next step as well, probably.
Yeah. Just try to be consistent with it, that's the hard part.
In terms of releasing 2 songs at once, like are they gonna or around the same time? Do they have like a similar thematic? Like
no, they're kind of
They're pretty different from
unique
each
in
other.
themselves. Yeah.
One's a little more like funky, groovy with a little bit of psych mixed in, and the other's more like R&B and kind of pop. So yeah, it's gonna be interesting to.
Were they written simultaneously or what? Different times?
I think it was
Sort of around the same time.
Yeah, it's kind of goes back to just like they both kind of just took their own, lives and evolved as they did. So we didn't necessarily sit down and be like, we need to have a theme, for these couple of songs we're going to put out. Which just keeps it sort of fresh and new. If somebody listens to one they don't like it, we'll try the other one out. It's a whole different song.
That's the thing about the songwriting process for us too. I think everybody has their songs that they've written and bring to the table, so they tend to be like vastly different from each other in like sort of way, So it's like trying to like find that cohesion again too, because people write songs by themselves, like me and Brian and whoever else, bring them to the table and then put them together. So it's like we come from way different areas in that regard.
Yeah, find a good
How do you
balance too.
guys then think about songwriting if you're writing songs but that are going to be sung by Mariah? Like, is there a different process than if you would think about if you were the person singing it, or like does that factor in? Not to.
I'm not one for writing like vocal melodies or lyrics either. It's just more of more groove based when I'm thinking about writing something. Trey's pretty all encompassing. Like Trey can put together a full song and kind of have the full idea when he comes to the table. But yeah, no, it's I don't know if I necessarily sit down. I'm like, this is how I think Mariah would sound on this one.
I usually write them as if I'm the one singing it, just because I have an idea in mind, and then I trust Mariah to implement.
Transpose.
Exactly. So I'm like, hey, this is kind of what I'm going for. Like, you're hungover in the morning.
There's a theme here. We drink a lot.
Yeah, we all
Might be alcohol.
Well, I wasn't gonna say.
Oh, don't say that out loud, man. It's only a problem if you say it out loud.
First album names.
Just give her a theme, and she takes it away. It's awesome.
I will say, I think Brian, you do a much better job, and also when we've worked with like Mikey and Brad, like when we get together, like you guys are so much better about being like, all right, this is like the theme we're going for. This is like this is evoking,
You need a direction.
See, I just don't want to put Mariah in a box. That's the thing. I want her to run free.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
No, I just only thought about it because there's like a Velvet Underground song written by Lou Reed that he has.
Which
Lori
song?
Tucker. I'm trying to think of the song, but it's like he has her sing it because, or it's really just a poem. He has her read it because it's so like graphic and terrible that it's and then like kind of that's not to say like, but the thought is like kind of.
Graphic.
Sometimes you gotta have to write like like writing for somebody else's voice can be hard.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, Anne Murray's Snowbird was written by a man, you know? But the whole point is that you know the register of the person that's singing
Yeah.
it for you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean that's, and then like bringing that to life, you know, is better done, you know, maybe by somebody. I get that. Yeah. I don't know.
Beethoven was deaf.
Yeah.
He went deaf near the end of his life when he composed the majority of the symphonies that we know him for.
Yeah, man. It's all about those good vibrations.
So you just
I know, we're all heavily
Venus and Furs?
Murder Mystery.
Murder Mystery?
Yeah, it's from the actually self-titled Velvet Underground album.
Okay.
Yeah, it's
the Velvet Underground song is.
the Velvet Underground song I was referring to is Murder Mystery.
Murder
Definitely read it or not.
I'll check it out.
I mean, you can
Oh,
read
yeah,
it as
read
well.
Yeah, I haven't listened to that
listen
record
to
in
it.
so long. I
Yeah.
feel that spin again.
Yeah.
I always just think of Velvet Underground Nico with the Banana album.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's what.
yeah.
No, this is before that. Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Well, speaking of themes, so I feel like we should have touched on this before. And correct me if I'm wrong. We have a group of lawyers.
One lawyer.
Can you imagine if we were all lawyers? That would be
okay,
so
well,
amazing.
Jack
I'm
underpresented.
flattered that you
Jack
wow.
presented it that everybody's a lawyer.
We actually have firms again.
Let's ride with that. That's
Well,
Yeah.
New specialist in code.
Well, you know what they say.
Yeah.
You know what they say. The best lawyer is one who's 6 feet under.
Wow.
Is that what they said?
I've never heard that one before.
As he
And we're
As
taking a turn.
He just fake killed Brian on the podcast.
Wow. I feel
It's a great way to get sued.
Yeah.
Only brown person on that.
This
song.
is retaliation.
Wow. Hey,
This is retaliation for the scapegoating I received.
If anyone gets canceled, it's going to be Sam. Be careful.
Yeah.
Cancel me. I'll go home to the mountains. It's fine. I'll go hide in the hills.
Yeah, I'm the only lawyer.
No, but yeah.
Okay, why do you guys call me a specialist?
All right. So,
Random band name generator.
yeah. So I've got.
I got the Wu-Tang rap generator.
We have.
Wu-Tang forever.
That's the best way to do it.
We tossed around so many
Killer
band
bees.
names.
So many.
I have a notes app on my phone that like just has a list a mile long of just like ridiculous bands. It's one of my favorite pastimes. Just like, you know, sitting around the bar, you're like, that would be a silly band.
So you were
Yeah.
thinking about this before you even had a band.
That was kind of the genesis of it. But it was like we started out, we were like, man, we should call ourselves Slumber Party, and we're gonna.
Okay, well, alright. Here's what happened with
And this is
that.
gonna be
You went there.
We thought it was a good idea, and we were like, man, that's.
And also, I will say, I really pushed it on them. I just thought it was cute, fun. Yeah, it'll be kind of ironic.
Bedroom pop, yeah, we had it all.
Bedroom
pop. We figured out quickly that wasn't gonna work out so well. So
Yeah.
And none of this time.
Yeah, I can go to a slumber party.
In this economy?
Slumber Party
Yeah.
show, man. So that didn't last very long.
Slumber Party meets Bedroom Cop.
That's right.
Like the title of something.
Bad.
So we settled on new specialists for nothing other than like, let's see.
We gotta
what
pick
was gonna
something
work.
that doesn't
Yeah.
sound
Gotta
that
pick
bad.
something. Yeah, we made a cool little logo. We liked it. I don't know. So
All
yeah,
band names are stupid.
Yeah, there's not much meaning behind it.
Your logo's nice. I have.
That's all Trey.
It's all Trey. Trey with
I
the
do all the
production.
art stuff, man.
You do
Yeah,
the designs.
I do
all
all
the
the
things.
designer,
Art.
producer, rock
Yeah.
drum.
You've been
Yeah.
designing posters.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I do all the posters, T-shirts, logo, all
Yeah,
that
you're
good stuff.
sick.
I appreciate that, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll have to get you guys one. We're about to tie-dye.
What is
Yeah.
what's your inspiration for design then? For your aesthetic?
Oh, man.
That's how people are introduced to bands
Yeah.
before you ever hear them.
That's true. Yeah.
Yeah, man.
So
I don't know. There's not really like a specific like inspiration. I just kind of like do whatever feels good.
This is you, right?
Yeah, exactly.
It feels very retro to me.
Holds up phone.
Yeah, so in the audience.
Yeah. So we are filming this.
Just
Right?
keeping score at home.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
show us
Absolutely no one.
It's like reminiscent of the cover itself looks reminiscent of like peacock feathers and eyes.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
Why?
Well, that was kind of it's the album art for Caught My Eye, so I went for like like loosely abstract sort of eye sort of stuff, and also like kind of keeping it psyche a little bit, with also like the minimalist art kind of stuff because I really enjoy that stuff, like the Bauhaus kind of art style. I love that like design era, so that's what I've kind of been leaning towards at this point. But
Yeah. It's been nice to have like a theme too with a lot.
Yeah, kind of like keeping it cohesive, which is why I kind of like handle all the art stuff because I can just like get in the lab and like bang that stuff out and like keep it kind of dialed in because we've worked with a couple artists and they've like deviated a little bit away from what I've been doing. So it's easier to sort of brand a little bit in that kind of way. When you have cohesive kind of art stuff. So.
Do you have any like difficulties with getting merchandise like pressed and stuff?
Oh yeah, we had some. I did the T-shirt project recently and had to send like 2 batches back because they like fucked it up, like all that kind of stuff. So I don't know, but yeah.
T-shirts are deceivingly tough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it took like a lot of work and like getting the design right for the T-shirt and everything too is like that's a project I've never really like dealt with, like pressing T-shirts and stuff like that. So you have to like really work on the design, make sure it fits the shirt and looks all right, And
Because the world is filled with janky T-shirts.
Absolutely.
Honestly, probably something we would like to talk about.
I mean, I love janky T-shirts.
Everybody does.
Speaking of,
I like your T-shirt for sure. The design. So,
Thank you.
all 3 great
PC
choices.
the thing is, never put it in the washer ever. It's gonna.
That looks great. That looks.
Good look.
Of all the T-shirts in the world, that was one of them.
That is one of them.
All right, see the scapegoating begins. Here we go. Punching it.
Someone must have cursed you in the past life.
Yeah, karma's a bitch.
Chip on
Yeah,
the
Sam
shoulder.
just has terrible karma. That's really what it comes down to.
Good barbecue. No, I'm good.
That's right. Thompson does. Shut up.
Speaking of T-shirts, they had a saga, but that's another day. Shout out Jeff Thompson, Black Thompson, love you.
Yeah.
Thanks for
Any
birthing
upcoming
me.
shows?
Oh, jeez.
God, I don't know. I don't think we have anything right now.
No, nothing solidified yet. Like I said, we're kind of like getting through the end of the year here. Sam was on a hiatus for the last month. It really kind of threw a wrench in.
Well, life happens,
No, yeah, so
Lots of
that's-
Dickens.
There's been a couple.
Well, if you're not playing any shows, have you guys given thought to long form? Like anything long form? Any ideas for either storytelling or concept?
Honestly, like one of the things what we're working on right now is trying to do more like content, like do, some sort of like live video shoots and like cool visuals and stuff like that, just to get content out there. Because of course, like stuff travels way faster on the internet than just playing the local gigs. So trying to get some stuff nailed down with that, kind of in association with some of the new songs that we're doing, get a little traction behind those, and then hit the ground running after the first of the year. But that's the thing, like when you're doing kind of everybody's got jobs, you're doing it on the side, like trying to coordinate. Sometimes it got the highs when we're all in and we got a lot of stuff going, and sometimes it kind of levels out a little bit, and then you got to get it back going again. So that's where it's at right now. It's like a lot of stuff going on in the background.
Yeah, we're
as far
kind
as
of
like shows and stuff that's out front, probably another month or 2 out before we get stuff rolling.
right. Yeah, we're kind of more in like a planning phase at the moment. Again, it's a slower time. Everyone's thinking about the holidays and working on content, and really just kind of planning the next couple months. We'll probably put something together. Early next year, get back on the scene and go from there.
Well, just let us know. I'd love to
Absolutely.
review something by you guys.
Absolutely, totally.
Yeah.
You guys said you have all different music tastes, so I want to hear the last album that you listened to, each of you all. Or like if they're
Last,
Okay.
like,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
full all the way through, or
doesn't
like
have to be all the way through. Maybe
No.
at least like more than 2 songs off.
But we have to get.
Let's go get off.
You guys go first. Let's hear it.
Yeah.
Let's hear it.
No, Lucas, you go first.
See, I don't even gotta look at my phone.
Very
Come on.
tough question.
All right, well, this is that. All right, I've been listening to this artist, London Drugs, a lot recently, but it's like all caps LNDN DRGS.
Are they from London?
No, they sound like they're American. So yeah,
But so do the Rolling Stones.
so true.
Yeah.
That's so
Yeah.
true. But yeah, they're like hip hop. They're amazing.
I'm actually really excited about mine.
Yeah.
Mine is Love, Devotion, Surrender, which is an orchestra with Carlos Santana and John McLaughlin. And
Ooh, that's nice.
tight.
I found that at the Poorhouse actually, the record store.
Nice.
Shout out
Yes,
to
indeed.
Mine is actually A Love Supreme by John Coltrane.
Yeah.
Right on.
Okay.
I don't know if I listened to it all. There's only 5 songs, but Jackson's.
Oh, Jack.
Jackson's gonna be Taylor Swift.
Stayed up for the midnight premiere.
I was listening to I Shall Wear a Crown by Pastor T.L. Barrett and the Youth for Christ Choir.
Wow.
All right.
That's
dude.
enough.
impressive.
Yeah.
That local.
Say that 3 times quickly.
I don't know.
I don't want to hear it now.
It's good. I mean, it's gospel.
Local.
I don't know. If we put it on, we're probably gonna get.
I don't know. A lot of
Six
people.
on
Yeah.
It's got word on.
It's a me thing.
Mine was King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard changes.
Oh,
New one they just put out. Yeah. Shout out Giz.
Mine was Part of My Take by Barstool Sports.
Okay.
No, I'm just kidding.
If he wasn't so good at guitar, you know.
I'll what can I say? I got fast fingers. What? Actually, to your Rolling Stones point, the last full album I listened through was Sticky Fingers by the Rolling Stones.
Always great.
Love it.
I was wearing Charlie Watts shirt yesterday.
Nice.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Mine's High Low by Jack Stauber. I'm not sure if you are familiar with Jack Stauber, but he's a great artist. I mean, he posts videos and he does a lot, like I said, a lot of synthy, a lot of keys, bass, retro. So, I thought you were raising your hand.
Question?
Yeah,
Trey,
question?
what you been
Anybody?
listening to?
Oh boy.
Something weird?
Yeah,
Oh,
something
boy.
weird always. Yeah, the last record I listened to was "Girl with a Basket of Fruit" by Shoo Shoo. I'm a Avon experimental junkie. So I love that shit.
And I think last, besides that, is going to be shout outs individually, shout outs as a band. Anything else you want to like?
Shout down.
Shout
Yeah,
out.
shout down people.
Yeah, she just start talking
No.
shit.
Please no shout downs. Come on.
Well, shout out.
Shout out to the cookout on Newbern Avenue. We love it. Big fan.
No, don't shut up. Anything on it.
Wait, is that-
What kind of tray are you getting?
Oh, let's do tray orders. All right.
Alright,
So,
tray. Here we go.
Wait, is
Yeah.
that the cookout with the homeless man who stays by the movies?
yeah, he's the homie man. Yeah, he's the
He's
homie.
all, okay.
Dude, you gotta hit him with the big double burger, fries, chicken quesadilla, corn dog on the side to eat on the drive home, of course.
Yeah.
Do you don't do the burger out west style or anything?
Oh, cheddar style.
Cheddar style,
Yeah, I'm in a class.
He went through it so fast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If I'm feeling real wild, I get like the crispy chicken sandwich, put the quesadilla on top. You know what it is.
This is really a North Carolina podcast. Then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're yeah.
Really segregating the audience.
All right, that's my shout out. Big fan of Cookouts work. Love them.
Shout out Bottom Shelf.
Shout out
Yeah,
Bottom
shout
Shelf.
out
Shout out on himself.
The homie.
Mike Riley, what's up?
They're a local band that we play with sometimes.
We
on
play
Bush
with
Street.
They
We
actually-
play with them at Night Rider.
We actually played with them at Night Rider the
Yeah.
night that we met.
Yeah. They're the homies.
We opened for them actually. They had a killer show.
Yeah, that's the show that I met.
Yeah, they're good like
I saw Bob.
indie garage.
Yeah, you
You
probably
did.
have.
Probably with us.
Yeah.
I like their merch too. They're,
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
Yeah,
Budweiser.
Yeah.
And then they just
How
put a
have they
little
not been sued?
piece of cardboard on the white and just spray it.
It's rock and roll,
But
baby.
there's certain things like Budweiser
Fair
is
use.
so big, you can use their logo.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're
Yeah.
protected under the law of
Yeah, what is theirs? Like the Miller
As an
High
attorney, I
Life
don't think that's
logo.
true, but
Is that true?
You're not-
Is it not? Oh,
I mean, you're not protected under
there's something
law.
called genericism where something becomes generic. That might be what you're thinking
See this?
about.
We got the
Like
lawyer.
Band-Aids.
it's not.
Yeah.
Budweiser's not there yet.
Whenever we get in trouble, we call this guy.
Damn it.
But
I
fair,
mean,
but
it-
fair use, you know.
I mean, Duff used
Parody?
the same-
What kind of law are you doing?
Mostly corporate. I like.
Yeah, let's get into it.
Duff nuances.
Whatever you guys
It's
see.
now a law podcast.
Yeah.
Numbers
The
is
North Carolina law.
as Budweiser, but they put Duff on the label. They're allowed to use it.
What
on
about the
21st
Simpsons?
century Fox.
Because it's satire, parody.
Oh, yeah, so you're talking.
Yeah,
So
it's
there's
satire.
satire.
I don't listen.
There's a parody, fair use. You can parody anything you want.
Yeah, the design to have like an actual
Exactly.
thing is a parody to have.
Exactly.
So they're good, right?
They're good.
Is this
Alright,
the
yeah.
forum law section?
I'll help you guys
Yeah,
out.
do you guys have
are
any
gonna see.
legal questions?
So yes, the second hour is all law.
Yeah.
My retainer
Uh,
is pretty high.
shoutouts.
Oh my
Paul
god.
at Sonar.
Yeah, shout out Paul.
Paul, Sonar.
He's our engineer. He put these 2 records together that we're about to put out.
Name of the 2 records we can, or do we want to
It's
hold?
gonna be
Up
she
late.
said it's gonna be up late and
I know
then
we
Hard
are
to
going
get.
to have.
hard to get.
She's saying it.
What was it?
Sorry, hard to get and up late are 2 new ones. What were you saying? Sorry.
I know that we were going to get access. Brian, you had said we were going to get access.
Yeah.
to the
Yes.
release track.
We'll be
Yeah,
sending
yeah.
you a link to an unreleased track
Jackson.
for this podcast. That you can
Very nice.
Exclusive.
Mm-hmm.
What about my shout out?
Shout it out.
You
shout
already
it.
gave one.
We already got the Tom.
I did not give a shit.
Yeah, we already got it.
Shout
Exclusive.
out to folks.
Sure.
Hillsborough.
Shout out.
40 Beltline. Sorry.
UITB, bro. Shout out Spencer Dalton. We love you.
Oh,
yeah.
we love
Aw.
Spencer.
That helps me.
Yeah.
That seemed really personal and nice.
So yeah.
He's the man.
What's that gonna
The all-time leading scorer for JV basketball at UNC Chapel
Big
Hill.
time.
Look out.
Yeah.
Spencer Dalton.
Oh, you don't actually know him.
Oh,
No, we do.
Oh.
He used
The
to
hell?
play.
He's also.
Oh, you do actually know him.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
They know the all-time leading scorer, JV.
Nice.
Never forget.
Man's got a wicked three-pointer.
JV and Duke actually, like, Duke and UNC's JVs play like a big old game every year.
Yeah.
I have no idea. I'm sure Spencer does that.
Spencer also kicks Connor's ass in golf every time.
I don't play golf anymore. I'm retired.
Yeah, let's not
Tacos?
talk about golf.
Tacos?
Tacos? Let's do it. 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 Do it.
I've been putting on a show. Hair is long, my eyes is roxy, moving on the low. You think you know all about me, chasing getting old. Only wanna ride with you. I've been trying to grow, never make time for a man that's shady. Only bust down and treat me like baby, swerving on the way and we going like 80. Baby, I don't mind the looks. I got a line in the hook. I got a line and a blind and a you would think I wrote a book. You're saying I'm too gay, but I got what I want right here. And if I had to guess, I would say that you're insincere. When I walk away, do you think that you miss me? Oh yeah, oh yeah. I've been on the road, singing my songs and getting antsy, going toe to toe. I don't think you wanna text me, saw you at the show. You were trying to play it cool. I've been on the go, never make time for a man that's shady. Only bust down and treat me like baby.